What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American living in West Africa. I'm in Sierra Leone right now. And if you want to know how crazy the last 24 hours have been for me, then this is the video for you. All right. We are live on all platforms. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. What's up, everybody? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. We're going to give it a second for everybody to join, but give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I am on a spotty connection, so let me know if you can hear me. If you're on Instagram, let me know if you can hear me. On YouTube, let me know if you can hear me. Like I said, I got a spotty connection, so I'm going to need your help today to know if you guys can hear me. I am in Sierra Leone right now. For those of you who are wondering, I'm no longer in Nigeria as of yesterday evening sometime. All right, so some people are joining. I see you guys joining. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me know that you guys can hear. Okay, it's cool. So Instagram, I got the thumbs up from Instagram. It looks like you guys can all hear me. Shout out to everybody who joined on Instagram. And on Facebook, let me know if you guys, in YouTube, let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Okay, Anne-Marie Harding says, yes, you can hear me. Cool. Oh man, I got a lot to go over today. It's been a pretty crazy day. I just am like figuring out my accommodations this morning. Lights don't go. Yes, as you can see, Sierra Leone is very similar to Nigeria in the sense that the power goes out. So you guys who joined my live the last 2 weeks in in Nigeria and saw the power go out, the same happens in Sierra Leone too. But we do have a generator here, so it will be on shortly. So as it did in Nigeria, the power will be back in just a second. But yes, the power goes out here too. So welcome to West Africa. All right, cool. So can you guys still hear me? Am I still coming through clearly to you guys? Let me know if you guys can hear me. There we go. We got light again. We have light. All right, cool. So as you can see, lights don't go and it comes back when it comes back. Okay, cool. So we got a lot to catch you up on today. How was Nigeria? Everybody's been asking. My trip back to Sierra Leone has been a little bit crazy. So I'm going to get into all of that in just a moment. But we're just going to give a little bit of time for everybody to join. In the meantime, a few things to keep in mind. For those of you who are new to the channel or new to the page, my name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American. I live in West Africa right now. I'm on the second leg of my 3-country tour of West Africa. I was in Ghana, obviously, which is currently my country of residence and is the place I call home for now. I was just in Nigeria for a couple weeks for some meetings and just to get the vibe of Lagos, to see if I vibe with the city, the country makes sense for me to potentially move to. And then I came back here to Sierra Leone, which is really where my family is from. And I'm building a house here. So with this new job that I have, it allows me to be able to move around as frequently as I'd like. And so there's a bunch of travel coming up this year. As of right now, I'm going to be in Sierra Leone through the end of May. So this coming Sunday is my birthday. So I needed to get here before my birthday and before Sierra Leone Independence Day. So I'm here for all of that this week. And then through the rest of April and into all of May, I'll be here working on my house business, getting my house stuff off the ground, or I'm moving forward, I should say, not off the ground, but moving forward. Right now, I'm working on plumbing, plastering, doors and windows in the structure. And so I will be here until a large portion of that is done. And then I'm going to go back to Ghana for a couple of weeks before I go to the US. Actually, I go to Europe, then the US. I go to Europe. I'm going to England and France for about 2 weeks. And then I'm in New York, then LA for the whole month of July. And then I'm back in Ghana for August and half of September. So I got a lot of travel. And then after that, I'm going back to the US again at the end of in the middle of September. All right, cool. So we're allowing some people to get on. Pendo, is it Jolene or Jolene? Probably Jolene from Kenya. Shout out to you joining from Kenya. We got a bunch of people joining here. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Thanks for joining. If you guys want to join me and watch it on YouTube Live, the link is pinned. I pinned the YouTube link for you guys who are on Instagram and you guys want to join on YouTube Live. The link is pinned. So yeah. All right, cool. I pinned it again. So there goes the YouTube link. If you guys want to join YouTube, the YouTube link. What's up, Miss P? Always here. Anne Marie and Ms. P are always on. I appreciate you guys joining every week. This has been a crazy 24 hours. I got to update you guys on this. So let me just start by saying, so Ben Kamara is asking, have I started my new role yet? I have. I am fully in my new job, actually technically as of March 1st. But yeah, I'm in my new capacity and my new role right now as we speak. So yeah, I'm been busy on meetings. I actually had a call until about an hour ago because we got to make some pivots within the organization. My role is not really changing too much. I just have to make some structural changes to the new team that I'm taking on and my roles and responsibilities within the organization. But yes, I have started my new role. Okay. So what I got a couple. So IFBB Pro TK says Audi body fine, no bad. I think I go say no bad. Helen Brown says, are you in Sierra Leone at the moment? I am in Sierra Leone at the moment. I am as of. When did we cross? I mean, we landed yesterday at 9, but by the time I got here to where I was staying, I ended up staying in a hotel because the person that was going to let me into the place that I'm staying right now had already gone home and was far away. So I stayed at a hotel last night. By the time I checked in and got into the room, it was around 2:15 in the morning this morning. So it was a pretty crazy day yesterday. So as you guys might remember, I went live on Saturday with Kenya and Masa, right? Because we do the diaspora discussions, as you guys know. We do the diaspora discussions and we talk about things happening in Black America or in Africa, just things happening in the diaspora, right? As part of that, I told you guys that my original flight was supposed to be leaving on Monday, but because due to the fuel situation in Sierra Leone, which we talked about a few weeks ago, the flight got moved to Sunday. And we were told this on Friday evening. We got a text message or an email on Friday evening. Now, Air Peace is the only flight that has a direct flight from Nigeria to Sierra Leone. And so the flight was pretty full considering the size of these flights. And it's because no one wants to do a layover anywhere else. Like you're trying to get to your place, your final destination and be there. So a bunch of people take this flight. Air Peace is not a great airline. Let me just say that, just to say that, number one. Um, so let me let me start from the beginning. Let me just start from the beginning. So one of the things about Nigeria that I maybe did or maybe not, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you, but your international card may have issues being able to be used in Nigeria. They put blocks and different things on different kinds of cards for different reasons, as you guys can all imagine and guess. And so, even if you have a card from a bank that is a bank that exists in Nigeria, it still is going to have some challenges. So, for instance, I have an Echo bank account here in Sierra Leone. I have a UBA bank account in Ghana, both of which I was trying to use cards in Nigeria, and they worked sporadically at different ATMs. Sometimes it worked, most of the time it didn't. And so on the day that I had to leave, first the day before I had to do a COVID test. I ended up paying $100, finding out later that I didn't even need to do it. But I paid $100 for a COVID test, which is crazy, right? 45,000 naira, which ends up being $100. So just like that, $100 gone. Didn't even need it though, by the way. So that's one thing. And I'm pretty sure she gave me that price because, so it was a drive-in COVID testing center. So you drive in, you do the test, and they don't take cash. And my card didn't work. So anyway, I did the COVID test. So I didn't have any more cash because I couldn't take any more cash out of the ATM. So how am I going to get to the airport the next day if I can't take cash out of the ATM? How am I going to spend the money it's going to cost for the overweight bags that I had? So luckily, my ex came with me to the airport and was able to pay for everything. She had to pay for my Uber ride. She had to pay for my excess baggage costs. And then check this out. So you guys might remember the last time I was coming to Sierra Leone, I had to book a ticket at the airport. And I wasn't able to get on the flight right away because you guys might remember I had gotten a notification from the airline, but it actually never charged my account. It never charged my card. So it was just like I never actually booked a ticket, right? So I got to the counter. They're like, we can't let you in. And by the time we went through everything, it was too late. Gate was closed and the plane left. So I had to come back the next day, catch another airline, and book a flight the next day. So the lesson I learned from that situation was check your bank account to see if the money was debited. If the money is not debited from your account, doesn't matter if you get a ticket and a confirmation code and all of that, because if you get that, it doesn't matter if the money didn't come out of your account, because once you get to the airport, they will tell you they cannot find your ticket. So this time, I did all that. I got a notification. The money was debited from my account. EcoBank told me it did. I got notifications from Air Peace, the airline, telling me that the flight got moved up from Monday to Sunday. I even got a notification when I got to the airport, before I even got to the ticket counter, that the flight was delayed. So with all of that, I'm thinking, all right, let's just go through the process. I get to the counter and the guy's like, I can't find your reservation. I'm like, no, not again. He's like, I can't find your reservation. What do you mean you can't find my reservation? I can't find your reservation. It's not here. Now, I used a third-party website called Travel Genio. I've used them so many times before to book flights, and I booked my flight to Nigeria from Ghana through this website. No problems. So I also booked the other flight from Nigeria to Sierra Leone through this website, but of course, they debited my account, but it says the transaction timed out before the airline was actually ever able to get the transaction, I guess, or whatever it is. So basically, they didn't have my ticket in the system. So I had to have my ex pay for my flight as well. She had to use her card and pay for my flight. So Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have left. So I definitely had to have her come to the airport with me, pay my excess, pay for my flight, pay for my Uber, so that I could board the flight and come to Sierra Leone. So, all right. So after this is after like 2 hours going back and forth with the different agents. Oh, so we talked to an agent. The agent was like, I have to go to the gate right now because I'm dealing with something, but I'm going to be in touch with customer service just to make sure you're good to go. We just need to make sure that we see that your account was debited. You showed it to us. We just need to make sure that we received payment. So give us some time, blah, 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 blah. And you know how these airlines are. They're not proactively communicative, right? So they don't tell you anything. You have to keep pestering them. So I'm messaging the guy on WhatsApp. I'm calling the guy on WhatsApp. He's not responding. I keep going to the counter and I'm like, hey, what's going on? After about an hour and a half, I keep going back and forth. And she finally is like, he's not answering. He's not answering. So then they radio him. After 2 hours and 30 minutes, he finally radios back and says, we don't see the payment. So you are going to need to purchase the ticket all over again. So I had to purchase the ticket from Nigeria to Ghana, to Sierra Leone, in that instant, which my ex had to do on her card because, of course, my card didn't work. I tried my card, two of my cards, neither of them worked. Meanwhile, I got here and the cards worked just fine, right? Like I got to the airport in Sierra Leone and I was able to use my card with no issue. So it's definitely something on that end over there in Nigeria where they block usage of cards from time to time. I don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. I think you have to just get a bank account while you're there in order to be able to just utilize a card. Otherwise, it'll drive you crazy. So in any case, so after 2 hours of all that, I say, you know what, fine. I'll bite the bullet. Well, she'll bite the bullet. She'll make the purchase for me, and I'll go through. A bunch of people just joined, so I just want to say what's up to everyone. So what's up, Spear Warrior? And yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. It is what it is. I pay for it. Well, she pays for it. I have to send her back the money, so I send it to her, and then I go through the customs. I get to customs, and I have a pick like this. It was a better one. It's the one that kind of goes out like this, so it doesn't pull your hair out when you comb it. Anyway, most of you don't care, but the point is it was in my my bag that I carry around me. Where I keep my cash and stuff. I don't put it in my wallet anymore or in my pocket. I keep it in front of me at all times. And so I had my pick in there because I pick my hair with it. And as I'm going through the second layer of security, they tell me that this can be considered a weapon and they have to confiscate it. And I'm like, every step of the way, it's something with you people. It's always something. I'm like, could you have notified me that, that this was going to be an issue? Could you have notified me somehow, some way, what you can and cannot take with you? They're like, we can't, there's no way we could have notified you. I'm like, well, there was no way I could have known that this was considered a weapon. If I had known, I wouldn't have brought it with me. So anyway, they confiscated it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. It's a part of everyday life. This is Nigeria. What you do know about this place is that it's stressful. If you talk to anybody in Lagos, they'll say it's stressful. So anyway, I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. I'll just deal with it, right? So, all right. So now I'm going to my gate. We get to the gate, and the plane has not arrived yet, right? Now I'm supposed to be late. They told me while I was upstairs that they had already started pre-boarding. That was the message that they told me. So I'm like rushing. All right, let's just pay real quick. Let's go. Let me get through here. And then I get to the gate, and they're like, yeah, so the plane hasn't arrived yet. I'm like, how did you start pre-boarding if the plane hasn't arrived? So anyway, plane hadn't arrived. And so now our flight which was supposed to be at 2:30, was now delayed to 4:30. At this point, it's 4:30 and the plane hadn't arrived yet. By about 5:30, the plane arrives. So we're like, yes. Meanwhile, the flight to Dubai comes through our gate and goes. The flight to Ghana comes through our gate and goes. There were plenty of flights that actually were going through the airport that day, but Air Peace said due to inclement weather, they delayed our flight. Nobody else's flight got delayed, right? And our plane was sitting there on the runway. We're like, what's going on? Of course, they don't communicate with us. We keep asking them, oh yeah, you're gonna board soon. You're gonna board soon. Okay, fine. By about, I think it was around like, by about 5:45 or so, it's almost 6, we do end up boarding the plane, right? So we end up boarding the plane. We get on the plane, and they don't tell us anything, but we just aren't moving. Nothing's happening. We're just sitting there like, what's going on? And they do the sit down, fasten your seatbelts. They do the whole thing, right? They do the whole thing. We're going to be ready to taxi for takeoff, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what's going on, right? So I go back to use the restroom. The stewardesses, I think that's what you call them these days. Flight attendants are like, no, you can't use the restroom. We're about to take off. 30 minutes later, no, you can't use the restroom. We're about to take off. Shout out to Mr. Los Angeles for joining. Shout out to Henrietta for joining too. I see you on there. So I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean we're about to take off? We've been here like 10 minutes. 30 minutes go by. We still don't take off. What is going on? Why aren't we taking off? All right, so this one guy, it was ill-advised, but he does on like one of those kinds of things on the overhead compartment, right? But with his like ring, so it's loud, right? He does like 3 or 4 of them, right? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna make noise, I'm gonna make a problem, blah, 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 right? He does that for about like I think like 4 seconds. So it wasn't a long time, but it was long enough apparently to get the attention of the flight attendants. So about 5 minutes later, the pilot comes on and says, guys, sorry for the delay. The third-party company we use that pushes us away from the gate so that we can taxi and go. I don't know. I guess these planes the planes can't go in reverse, is what I'm assuming. The planes must not be able to go in reverse. They can only go forward. So anyway, the guy says the thing that's supposed to push us back is not there. The third party, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. All we know is one of these lift things, these vehicles with a ladder attached to it, right? It has like a covering over it, but it has like a staircase inside of it. But the vehicle is like driving it, and it comes to the back of the plane, and we're like, what is going on? And there's like 5 or 10 different employees from the airline that start coming onto the plane. And then one guy walks through with speed all the way from the back of the plane now, all the way to the front. He's like, excuse me. Because everybody's like, what's going on? What's going on? Why aren't we moving? And so he's like, excuse me. And he walks through, and we're like, okay. So he walks through to the pilot. He talks to the pilot or whatever. He comes back. And then all of a sudden, police come on the plane, right? And we're like, what is going on? So the police come to the guy, and they're like, we're taking you off the plane, to the guy. And they're like, we're not moving until you leave the plane. And he's like, well, I'm not leaving the plane. And then like 3 or 4 other people want to be heroes, and they're like, if he has to leave, we're leaving. We're all leaving. You're not flying with any of us. I'm like, wrong. I'm leaving. I'm getting on this flight. I'm not getting off this plane. But there were many people who like 20 to 30 people got up out of their seats into the aisle and started screaming at the staff and at the police. Now that seemed to work. They kind of backed down a little bit. They were like, well, look, you guys need to calm down. We need to take him off the plane. This goes on for about 20 or 30 minutes. Then some of the police come off the plane. And it's kind of like in a standstill. We don't know what's going on. No announcements are being made. Meanwhile, this is like a whole almost an hour since we've been in the plane and haven't moved, right? At this point, it's an hour. So, so eventually, I guess it's the CEO of the airline. I think it's the CEO of Air Peace. Comes from his house on high, wherever he lives. And he comes to the plane, and I guess he has a discussion with the guy, and they agree that the guy needs to apologize to the pilot. So And then a bunch of people were like, no, we're not apologizing. By the way, this is after screaming and yelling has been going on for, at this point, 30 minutes. They're all, everybody screaming and yelling on that plane. The flight attendants are staying in the back. They're not coming out and engaging with anybody. The pilot hasn't come out. He hasn't made any announcements, nothing. So this group of like 20 people go all the way to the pilot, to the cockpit, right? Knocking on the door. The pilot locks himself in, like all the locks. He's not coming out. You hear it lock, he's not coming out. They're screaming at him, banging on the door. Why aren't we leaving? What's going on? So the owner comes back out and is like, listen, you guys need to calm down or we're not leaving at all, right? So everybody goes back and sits down. He goes with the guy. The guy goes and complains, goes and apologizes to the pilot finally. Apparently the pilot's fine, but now the pilot's fine with the apology, but now he has anxiety. Like his anxiety has been worked up, right? Because all these people have been screaming for an hour and like 20 people like tried to bum rush the cockpit, right? So this dude is not feeling it, right? So the owner of the airline had to like talk the guy off the ledge and just be like, figuratively speaking, of course, like had to just calm the guy down and let him know that he was okay and everything is going to be fine and just breathe and et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'm going to pause right there before I get into the rest of the story because there's a lot of comments and questions that are coming up. So I want to address them. But I'll get back to finishing the story. But let me pause right there. So EO says, how was my stay in Nigeria overall? I'll get to that in a second after I tell this story for sure. John says, I can tell you he liked Nigeria. I mean, who doesn't like the giant of Africa? I did like Nigeria. I did. I just had issues, but you know, when you're here in West Africa, you're going to have challenges. You got to be patient. Life, that's life. But yeah, I did like Nigeria. It was cool. Spirit Warrior said hi. iTuber says back home in Mama Salon. Yes, I don't reach. GMS says what it do. What's up? What's up? Lady Keen says killer Afro pick, really a comb. I'm going to make it a movie with this title. Let me call the Wayans brothers. Give me a high five. Yes, I'm old enough to remember the Wayans Brothers TV show. I used to watch it all the time. But yeah, I like the fist on this. So that's why I bought it. Even though this is, it also has a Superman randomly in the middle, Superman thing. You can see it kind of. I guess I got to put it with another background. Anyway. But yeah, so it's a different kind of pick. It was a better pick, honestly, than this one, but it was confiscated. iTuber says, nah, take the delay with flying. Taking off is optional, but landing is mandatory. Correct. Which is what the owner of the airline made clear to us. Lady Keen says, which airline do you usually fly to Sierra Leone? So I've never flown from Nigeria to Sierra Leone, but when I'm flying between Ghana and Sierra Leone, I usually take Africa World Airlines or ASKY, ASKY. So either Africa World Airlines or ASKY is what I usually take. Africa World Airlines is like the cheaper option. I used to call it the Frontier, or what's the other airline that everyone used to make fun of? Spirit. It's like the Spirit Airlines of West Africa is what Africa World Airlines can be sometimes. But nonetheless, I've flown that. When I flew in and out of Sierra Leone from the US, I would always fly Air Brussels and sometimes Air France. So those are the airlines I usually use. But if you want a direct flight from Nigeria to Sierra Leone, the only one that's available is Air Peace. Everything else has a layover somewhere else for an extended period of time, sometimes 3 or 4 hours. And I wanted to get here immediately because it was on a Monday and I was going to be having meetings later in the evening. So I booked the Air Peace flight because it was supposed to be 11 a.m. on Monday morning. So I would have gotten home with plenty of time to be prepared for my meetings Monday evening. But in the end, my flight got moved anyway to Sunday, and it was later in the day Sunday. So anyway, yeah, that's what I usually use. EO's laughing, says sounds like Nigeria because of everything that happened. Sounds very ghetto. I mean, it was just, yeah, I mean, listen, we can be a little bit unruly sometimes in West Africa. You know, when we have an issue with something, we can raise our voices, especially Sierra Leoneans and Nigerians. That's the thing we have in common. So you had some Nigerians in there and you had some Sierra Leoneans in there. And all together, this group is a group that's gonna get loud. I think if it was a bunch of Ghanaians, it probably would have been less aggressive. They just seem to be less aggressive culturally from my experience so far in terms of how they handle conflict. But Nigerians and Sierra Leoneans, the way we handle conflict within these two countries is is through aggression and direct communication. And so it just kept escalating. The more people got upset, the more people got upset, and it just became like a self perpetuating cycle, just more and more and more. It was pretty wild. I got it on tape. Oh, don't worry, this is going to be vlogged. You guys you guys will see the whole thing. I got audio, I got video. It got pretty aggressive. It got pretty aggressive. So it's going to be vlogged. You guys are going to see it maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm just finishing up some other content that needs to go up this week. But yeah. By next week or the week after, you'll see all of that. It was pretty wild. Okay. Abu Bakar Kamar says, hi, Joe. What's up, Abu? And Lady Keen says, I love my Africa. Can't wait to show you. I bought mines from an African lady in the US. So unique. I have to show you. You definitely want it. All right. Yeah. Sure. Take a picture. Send it to me. Helen Brown says, I can't wait for the audio and video. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to video people against their own free will. So it was more of me, like, in camera, but like you could see people in the background a little bit. I got a little bit of some other people because I was trying to capture the situation with the police, but there was so many people in the aisle, like lining up and piling up, like 15 people. You couldn't really see what was going on with the police situation. But you know, so okay, let's get back into that story. So yeah, so the owner of the airline comes, he calms the pilot down. The pilot gets on the loudspeaker and says, look, myself and the individual, we worked it out. He and I know exactly what happened, and we've worked it all out. So we are fine, and we are now ready to go. Now, there was another delay of about 15 minutes because I guess we had to wait for a couple of flights to land. But we finally took off. I think it was around 7 something when the flight was supposed to leave at 4:30. So to give you an idea of what time we took off. And so we land in Sierra Leone, and just due to the nature of the process with everyone having to take COVID tests, people who aren't vaccinated, had to take COVID tests, and so we didn't leave to cross the. So we landed at I think like 9:30. We didn't leave to cross the water until 11:30 before we were actually leaving to cross over to the other side, which means we didn't arrive until 12:30. And then because it was so late, I was supposed to. So the place that I'm staying in right now is not where I came to last night. I was supposed to come here last night. But the woman who was supposed to let me in with the key doesn't live here. She had to go home. So I had to go stay at a hotel last night so that I could actually meet up with her this morning so that I could come here and stay here. But yeah, so I had to go to a hotel. Well, the first hotel I went to, of course, was booked. Cool. So then I had to go to the next hotel, which is called Sierra Palms. I now have some content that I can show you what $140 a night hotel looks like here in Freetown. So I'm gonna share with you the deluxe room facing the ocean. You guys have seen me do the Pearl and Atlantic Lomley. Now I'll be able to do Sierra Palms, which is another hotel. It's in an area called Aberdeen, but it's on Lomley Beach Road. So anyway, you guys will get a chance to see that as a piece of content that I do. So you can see what it's like to stay in a $140 a night hotel here in Sierra Leone. But yeah, I had to stay there last night. And so I didn't get checked into a room until 2 a.m., like 2:15. Remember, I was supposed to be leaving at 2:30 p.m. West Africa time. I did not check into my room, which is 1 hour ahead. I did not get into my room until after 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT. So, okay, so yeah, that was the full extent of my day. Not to mention the Uber driver tried to charge me a surcharge because he said I had too many bags. He had his own quote unquote surcharge. I'm like, so that started the day, right? With the Uber driver and the surcharge. What started the day was me not being able to take money out of my ATM and thinking like, how am I going to eat? How am I going to get to the airport? How am I going to pay for my excess luggage? Like those were all things that I was asking myself that I did not have an answer to. But eventually I got the answer to that question, and it was my ex. She had to pay for everything, which is unfortunate, but that's what had to happen. All right, cool. So iTuber says all 20 people who tried to enter the cockpit should have been taken off the flight, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, look, they weren't trying to fight him. They were trying to speak to the pilot on behalf of the person and express discontent, because the staff was pretty rude to the guy too. They did apparently threaten to assault him for having banged on the what do you call it, the overhead. Sorry, this is on way too tight and I have to take it off. So there we go. For banging on the overhead. So they apparently threatened to assault him, according to sources. I don't know, because I couldn't see or hear any of it. I was in my own zone. I was editing a video, as a matter of fact. So I had my headphones in and I was on my laptop. I had no idea what was happening, but apparently he was threatened to be assaulted. So that's why everybody was sticking up for him on his behalf, even though he did misbehave a little bit by banging on the overhead. Like, he shouldn't have done that. But yeah, on any other flight or any other airline, they probably wouldn't have flown, and they probably would have tried to dismiss everyone else. Also, it would have been a viral moment all over the internet right now if it was on any other airline. Like in the US, if it was like United Airlines or something, it would have been all over. But the people who did it, I don't know. They recorded some people. One girl went live, but I don't know if you guys heard anything about it. It didn't seem like it was a big story. And I didn't have any Wi-Fi because I had because my ex paid for everything. I gave her my Wi-Fi and gave her the SIM card that I was using for the phone, because like that was the least I could do after she just paid for everything. So and like saved me from the situation last minute. So so yeah, I had no access to Wi-Fi, so I couldn't get online. I couldn't do anything but sit on my computer and edit a video. And that's what I was doing. So anyway, all right. So iTuber says, and speaking of Nigeria, I'd probably like Abuja more than Lagos. That's what most people say. Go to Abuja, see what it's like. I mean, it's the new capital now. So more people do say that's the place to go for sure. Okay, so let me get back to EO's original question, which was, how did I like my stay in Nigeria overall? Overall, it was good. So where I was staying was a pretty famous housing complex. It's called 1004 Federal Housing Complex. I think it's called that because it's 1004 apartments. It's where the senators and the government officials used to stay when Lagos was the capital of Nigeria. But since they moved to Abuja, they now the place has been sold, I guess, by the government, and it was like remodeled, so they say. And then now people just stay there. It's just really expensive housing. I did notice like a lot of Indian couples and families there, and a lot of diasporans or like expats living there. So I think it's for people who, who work on VI and don't want to travel far to get to work. But for as expensive as it is, the water isn't that clean, to be honest with you. And at least where I was staying, the power kept going out and they didn't have a good sense of when to turn the generator on. But like I said, it's not a deterrent from moving or going there. You just need to be insulated and have your own source of power, like solar or a generator, to ensure that you don't go through this challenge. And make sure you stay at a place that has that if you're just coming to visit. So that'd be what I would say. But Nigeria is definitely a place to go. It's a happening city, very live, a lot going on. I had a ton of meetings. I went to about 6 or 7 restaurants, had about 8 meetings in 10 days, some with former colleagues, some with new clients. Just overall, it was a great experience from that perspective, just in terms of building my network and and just expanding my network, I should say. So overall, I think it was great, and I think if you're into doing business in West Africa, then you do need to have some kind of stop or hub in Lagos. You just have to. It's where everything is happening, right? And all the investment dollars are going there, um, and that's just where all the startups that are doing anything of significance are in West Africa. It is the West African startup hub. I know that Ghana was voted most what was it, the best place to visit on vacation in Africa. And I probably won't disagree in terms of West Africa is concerned, from the three countries that I've been to out of, I don't know, the 15 nation states that are here. But Nigeria is where it's at business wise. It just is. I can tell you that firsthand for sure. I was only there for 2 weeks, and it's just moving. It's moving, and people are serious. I met with a CEO that I know who, I think I mentioned this to you guys, a company called Sierra Leone. They handle the reoccurring processing of payments for Netflix in Nigeria. That guy has a schedule like Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Vaynerchuk, yeah, Vaynerchuk. That guy who curses all the time, he always talks about social media. That guy meets for 15 minutes, and he meets from I think 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day for different things related. And this other guy, I see how I expect his business to be really successful. He's done really well for himself even so far. But he's really done a good, he really meets like back to back to back. I sat down with him, and I'm vlogging that too. But like 2 weeks ago in Ghana when he came, and I recommended two people to meet with him. And within a week, they both had offer letters, and he met with them that day or the next morning. Like when I told him who they were, he was like, "Oh, let's get. I want to meet with them now." So he's not playing, and he's a multitasker too. Because while we were meeting, he also kept jumping in and out of a group interview that they were doing for somebody who was going to be in business development for his team. And I came into his office. When I'm in his office, meetings are just happening in and out. I don't see. I mean, look, it's a different company at Jumia, and but I got a chance to see the difference between how I saw things handled at Jumia in Ghana versus how I saw things being handled by the CEO of Searbit in Nigeria. And it's a very different experience in terms of the way that these guys do business and the way they move. So Nigeria, that hands down, is the best place to find business relationships in West Africa for sure. All right, David McCrae is here. What's up? What's up? Only one joined. She says hello. Hello. What's up? What's going on? Yeah. So that was my travel to Sierra Leone, and also my overall thoughts of Nigeria. I'm not ready to say I'm ready to move there just yet. I'm definitely looking forward to visiting more and getting more vibes and seeing how it works for me. I know people who are in and out of there all the time. I actually ran into a guy I know who's Nigerian but lives in Ghana, but we didn't run into each other until we were at the airport when his flight to Ghana came through my gate and left while we were still waiting there. But yeah, I mean, and I also met with one of my former colleagues, a couple of former colleagues from Jumia, like 3 of them actually. One of which has moved on, and she runs e-commerce for Coca-Cola. So really, really smart people who come out of that company, and the other 2 still work for Jumia. But yeah, so overall, it was a great experience. So to answer that question and to tie a bow on it, as they say, it was good. It was good. I just don't know if I can live there as of yet. I need to find a way to make it make sense for me, because I need to be more comfortable than I was the first couple of nights at that Airbnb. And so I'd like to make sure that I think it through first and know exactly where I want to stay, and have visited where I want to stay before I actually move. So that's something I'm definitely going to do if I decide to move to Nigeria. Like I said, I think for right now, it's just a place that I'll be visiting and I'll be having meetings as often as possible. But right now across my home, just because I have a system and I'm comfortable the way things are moving. All right, cool. So Helen Brown is asking, what am I doing for Sierra Leone Independence Day? That's a great question. I don't know yet. I was supposed to be going to Bo and Masa, which we talked about, but I have a really important meeting to do on Wednesday. And so I don't think I'll be able to go to Bo for her presentation on the land that she's selling. Unfortunately, I just won't be able to do it. And iTuber, I know you asked on a comment today if they're allowing micro investors. I'll ask her. I'm actually going to breakfast with Masa tomorrow. So it's the first time I am in Sierra Leone with Masa. Kenya can't come because she's holding it down on the restaurant front in Ghana, but meeting up with Masa tomorrow morning for breakfast before she heads out to Bo. Unfortunately, I can't go, so I'll probably just stay here. But yeah. So I too. Oh yeah, you just asked the same question in the comments. Yeah. So they might be open to minority investors. I'll have to ask her tomorrow. But in terms of Independence Day, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing for my birthday though. We're going to do a little bit of a dinner, then a little pregame situation, and then we're going out. So we're going to a couple of different places. You know what? If anybody's watching from Sierra Leone and will be here this weekend, you should come meet up with us at Scarlet. We'll be at Scarlet to end the night. So definitely come meet up with us at Scarlet on Friday night. This is on Friday night. So yeah, if you guys want to celebrate with me on my birthday, come to Scarlet on Saturday night if you're gonna be around. But yeah, Ellen, I'll let you know what I end up doing for Independence Day. I don't know yet, but I'll whatever it is, I'm gonna be vlogging it for sure. iTuber says usually there's stuff at the National Stadium, but it's being renovated right now. Yeah, the stadium is being renovated for sure. There's needs renovation. My cousin has a bar at the stadium. That reminds me, I need to reach out to my cousin. My cousin has a bar at the stadium, and he still has it, but I think he's gonna have to relocate a portion of it, or relocate it, period, for parts of the renovation. Which I think is tough because it's actually pretty cool. The breeze up there, the cross breeze there is so good. It's like cool there all the time. It's just dope to be able to chill in the stadium. And if you're a drinker, have a drink. I had a glass of wine at the stadium, just chilling with some friends. So I would definitely recommend it when you're in town, when it's renovated. All right, cool. No Narrative says, hey, Joe, you must not be in Nigeria. The connection is spectacular. Yeah, no, I'm not in Nigeria. I'm in Sierra Leone. Yeah, the connection's a bit better, but it's not that great though. I'm lucky right now that the connection's actually working, because I was on a Zoom call and I was on a couple of Google calls this morning, and the Wi-Fi was not working. I think it just has to do with how many people are on the Wi-Fi at the same time. And right now it happens to be working just fine, but it for sure had issues earlier this afternoon, for sure. So No Narrative says, that Biggie on the hat, shout out to Brooklyn. I caught the live. You did catch the live. I mean, when I bought it, I assumed it was Biggie, King of New York, or the King of Brooklyn, former reigning King of Brooklyn. Obviously, that would have to be Jay-Z in perpetuity now. He's taking on that mantle. But I don't know. It might be. It looked like that to me, so I bought it. I lived in Brooklyn for 14 years, so shout out to Brooklyn. iTuber says, that Salon internet don't miss. Yeah, it can be good. It can be. Don't jinx me, guys. Okay, it's working right now, but that's not to say that it's always going to work. Because trust me, I've had my issues here using the MiFi. In fact, I was going to go to Bo with Masa to go do the presentation and film it, but I realized that I have three really important meetings on Wednesday that I have to attend, and I cannot have spotty service. And I don't want to take the MiFi from the capital city all the way to a province because it probably won't work. And so I'm definitely not going to do that. So I've decided to stay. I have to have a really, really important meeting with the C-level executives at the new company I work with to pitch a new direction that we're going and my vision and all this other stuff. And so there's just no way that I'm going to be doing that and being like choppy and stuff like that. That's just not ideal, because if I'm trying to get them to invest resources in coming to West Africa, then I can't be having a situation where my MiFi and my Wi-Fi is spotty on those calls. So so yeah, shout outs to Sierra Leone internet working right now. All right, cool. How long are you staying in SL? Boys quarter still not livable yet? Yeah. So I'm staying in Sierra Leone now until the end of May, likely. It's not livable yet. So where we are now, which I'll put out a video this week, is the ceiling's on, the walls and all of that is all up. The electrical places where the outlets are going to go and the light switches have all been added, right? What we now need to do is do the plastering, doors, windows, but I also need to put a gate on the front of the property, and I have to dig for plumbing. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do with a septic tank, and I got to set up plumbing in the apartment or in the boys' quarters. But I am going to now change what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a guest house now. Before I was calling it a boys' quarters, but what I am thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to have the house help stay in the house with my mom. I think that's what we're going to do, because if I think about it, I don't know if it makes sense to build something like this and have two bedrooms, two bathrooms for house help. I think it probably just makes sense to have it be like a guest house. So when people come and they want to have their own space, while the first floor of the house is, once it's done, and the second floor of the house isn't finished yet, you can have two different spaces to have people stay, and the house help will be able to stay at home in the first floor with my mom to help her out, because that's part of the reason why the house is being built. Of course, it's her retirement home. It's where she's going to retire to eventually. And iTuber says, yeah, I don't like the name boys' quarters. Yeah, I mean, I had this conversation with a friend of mine who felt like it felt like just condescending and all kinds of different things. And I get that too. I mean, because it probably is a throwback to the what do you call it? The colonizers and slave trade. So it probably makes sense to call it something else. So I'll probably just call it a guest house from now on instead of the boys' quarters. But yeah, the guest house is soon to be done, because once that guest house is done, it'll be done by December for sure. So when I come back in December, I'll be staying in the guest house, which is ideal, because right now I'm staying in someone's place, which she's been very kind to let me stay. But I'll be here until she comes back into the country. And then I'm going to give her something, of course, some kind of financial, whatever. I'm going to give her money to thank her for, allowing me to stay here. But it's not a formal commercial arrangement where I'm like paying rent or this is an Airbnb. It's a friend of a friend's place. And two of my friends have stayed here before. And so just to reduce some of my costs, I'm staying here. And then I'm going back to the place that I stayed at the last time I was in Sierra Leone, which is in Godrich. So I'll be staying there for the remainder of the month of May, once the woman who lives in this place that I'm in moves back, which is probably going to be sometime this week. All right, cool. By the way, those of you who are watching on Instagram, if you want to watch along live and see what the comments are, people are saying, feel free to click on the pinned link there. It's going to take you straight to the live. Your guy Whitfield is helping me get land, and I told him my design ideas as well. Well, okay, so Nathaniel, yeah, nice. So, or Whitefield, I guess is his actual last name. So yeah, my architect, who's pretty good, is also into trying to help people find land, and he can do a pretty good 3D rendering of your property the way you need it, and with electrical, with plumbing, with all of that. So he's good. So he's a resource that I'm willing to lend out to other people because he can do that for multiple people. My contractor, unfortunately, that is not a resource I can lend out to other people because they're always limited in their capacity. And until my project is done, and he's already working on 2 other projects. Well, he's working on 1 other project for sure. Another one is just kind of whenever it's on an as-needed basis. I can't give up that resource. So Serafina, I like how you did that with your name. So Serafina says that makes a lot of sense. I prefer calling it a guest house. Yeah, I do too. I think it's guest house is all the way. iTuber says that planned community with sidewalks near the water. Is it just 3D or is it blueprints? What do you mean that planned community with sidewalks near the water? Is it just 3D or is it blueprints? It's blueprints and 3D, by the way. Menelik says, what's a rough estimate to build a home in Sierra Leone? Depends on the size. They used to say, estimate about $10,000 a floor. That's not anymore. I think you need to estimate $20,000 a floor, at least. So the guest house is going to cost about, actually, I'll tell you right now. When it's all said and done, the guest house will have costed, okay, so phase 1 for the foundation was $3,500. Phase 2 for the wall heights and beams was $6,300. So 3,500 plus 6,350. You know what? I don't do math in public. So is somebody doing the calculation? Are you guys going to tell me in the comments? I'm pulling up my calculator right now too, if that helps. But this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and it's probably, in terms of square footage, it's probably going to be like 500 square feet. It's not big, right? Because it's only meant to be like temporary for me when I'm just in town. So it's not a big place at all. Maybe less than 500 square feet, maybe even like 400 square feet. So I'm trying to, okay, yeah, here's my calculator. All right, cool. All right, so it took that long to pull the calculator up. This phone is old. So 6,530 plus 3,500. Hold on. 6,530 plus 3,500 plus 8,683. 8683 plus 5,128. Woo! Plus it's gonna cost a lot, man. Let me just tell you right now that I'm doing the math. Okay, plus another 8,855 plus 8,855, $32,696. So for like everything to be complete, between like a 500 square foot, and and the main house is going to be bigger, it's going to cost about a total of $32,000. Now, I do have other things that were added, right? Like There were excavations that are happening. Sorry, not excavations. That doesn't matter. But putting up a gate, and the fence was even separate. The fence was another 7,000. So that's like 40,000 overall to do all of it, right? Which is why people do these in parts, and it takes a long time for these houses to get built, right? And the thing is that over time, the cost of inflation goes way up. It goes way, 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 way up. Way up, I feel. Anyway, okay, so iTuber says, damn, what was the 8K? What was the 5K? Was it just because the first contractor messed up? Part of it, the first contractor messed up, but that wasn't it. 32,000 for a guest house. Let me walk you guys through it really quickly. Okay, so let me just share my screen. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen for you guys. If this is interesting, you guys, to kind of see how much this stuff costs, I'm gonna share my screen for you guys and walk you through how you guys can see how my brain works, how I put this stuff together. And if you guys are watching on Instagram and you want to see my screen, click on the link that's pinned there so that you can join the YouTube live. All right, cool. So I'm gonna share my screen. All right, cool. So here's a breakdown of the costs as they are structured today. So phase one from May 2021, phase one was 3,500. That was just the foundation. So that was digging the hole in the ground and cementing what ended up being the foundation. Now, that was when I had to fire the second contractor. The first contractor only got to the fence, never even got to this part. The second contractor who I had to fire took all of last year from May 24th to January of 2022 doing this here. Yeah. So that's the price there, right? For 3,500. Then the wall height and the beams. So the original wall height estimation was about $4,000, but because he didn't finish until January 2022, 6 months later, the rate of inflation had gone up for an additional 2 million leones, 20 million leones, or $2,000, right? So, and then when my new contractor came in, because he had to come in and make some adjustments and changes to what the original guy had done, ended up being so in total was actually ended up being $3,000 extra for this next phase, for the wall height and the beams that got done. Then that last phase that I was just telling you about is the oversight and concreting. So that's the rooftop and everything. That was 8,683. Then I had to do a new gate, a new gutter in the front of my property, and I had to break down and add some new stuff to the fence so that bigger cars can come through. Oh man, it's blurry. See, you see what happened? You guys jinxed me by saying that the internet was great, and look what happened. So anyway, yeah, I guess it's blurry. Sorry, guys. Not my fault. It's the internet connection. And I'm sharing a screen, so I think it's taking up more bandwidth. So the gate and the gutter had to be redone, and then electrical wiring, that was another 2,100. Then plastering the door frames and window frames is going to be 2,800. Plumbing installation is going to be 2,000. Finishings is going to be 3,000. Painting and decoration is going to be 510. Septic tank and soak away is 1,800. And so that leads to a total, like I said, of 32,000 overall. And that, my friends, is the cost of building this particular structure. All right, cool. So this could be a video in itself, how to build step by step, by land, etc. Yes, I am going to do videos on this. I just haven't gotten around to it, but it's definitely happening. I'm going to try to see how much I can do while I'm here in terms of the process, because I definitely want to make sure that you guys can see all of what that entails. So I think this trip is where I want to get like the basics of how to buy a house and what you need to do, the process you need to go through. And then I've also put together all of the different phases of building this house in the different videos. Those are all going to get their own videos on a step-by-step process, so you can walk through with it all the way through to completion. Right now, I've just been doing it in my vlogs, like my monthly vlogs, or when I was doing it in weekly vlogs and I was doing the updates there. But like those were part of larger discussions. So I'm just going to do one whole house update. At some point in time, I'm doing a whole, what do you call it, playlist of just how I went through the process of building my house. That's coming. You know, editing is a pain. So you guys got to give me some time on that. Nura Dina says, thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad you found it helpful. I'm glad you found it helpful. iTuber said it was blurry. David McCrae says, is this just your guest house or the main house? This is just the guest house, my brother. It's just the guest house. These things get expensive. So the guest house is $32,000. So I would guess that you can expect, but that's like with the gutter and everything else, expect it to be about like $20,000 to $30,000 per floor. You want to build a house at this point in time with inflation and the cost of materials, it should be about that. 720 HD, 720 HD. Oh, you're talking about that 720 HD, the format in which the videos were coming across. Hilarious. 720 HD. Yeah, so 32,000 for the guest house and the gutter. No, just one gutter in the front and a part of the perimeter wall. But if you remove the gutter and the part of the perimeter wall and the gate, that's probably like 5,000. So instead of being 32,000, it's probably more like 27,000. So the main house is 3 stories, so probably another 32K to be conservative. No, 32K per floor to be conservative. Yeah, by the time it gets built, it's probably going to be about that. Probably not that much, but somewhere in the ballpark of probably $25,000 per floor. So it's probably going to cost me about $75,000 to build this house. Yeah, and that was the cost people were building houses. I mean, I've seen some pretty big houses. They weren't 3 stories, 3 self-contained apartments. But yeah, I mean, you can expect that it's going to be about that. Serafina says it's very helpful. And yeah, iTuber says, yeah, make it 70K. 70 to 75K is what I'm anticipating for the house to be built. So we're going to do it floor by floor, year by year. So about 25K per year. So within the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years, the full house will be completed. Ideally, it's within, I want to have the first floor of the next house done next year, because, the guest house had to be done this year. The first floor of the main house should be fully done next year, because now I have one person who's kind of doing it, and we're just doing it in stages and phases. And he knows what he's doing. He's good at what he does. And I want to get this thing done. And then I can start working and focusing on other real estate projects and properties in other countries. I'm planning to buy in Ghana. Eventually, I'll probably buy in Nigeria as well, and maybe some other countries as well. I don't even know. But yeah, so that's where we are right now. iTuber says, and the time I get it, maybe it'll be 100K all in, which isn't terrible. I want an L-shaped house. Yeah, I mean, the way I'm doing it is I'm going to have kind of an L-shaped situation. So if you can picture it, like this is an overhead view, the way I'm about to structure for you right now. So this is going to be an overhead view. So the main house goes like this, and then the boys' quarters is going to be connected to the side right here like this. So it's definitely going to be kind of like an L shape. So cars can park and move around in this area. But this area in the front is not going to be too much open. It's just for cars to drive in. All right, cool. No Narrative says, is solar included, or is that a later cost and an upgrade? Yeah, that's going to be a separate cost, because you pay an electrician something separately to install. Well, the electrician's cost you saw all in here. I included the electrician's cost, but the solar company does their own cost for their installation of the panel, buying the panel, and the installation of the panel and connecting everything has its own cost, right? So this is not inclusive of that. And of course, the battery that you're going to be storing all the energy in is also an additional cost that goes along with all of the solar installation. So that will have its own cost for sure. That will have its own cost. Um, Good questions. All right, guys, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. Any other questions for me? Oh man, I got to drink some more water. I am not hydrated. I went almost 13 hours without water, and that was not good. I'm still trying to rehydrate from that. Like I'm still dehydrated. I think I told you guys I drink the equivalent to two of these a day, or one and a half of these a day. Is 1.5 liters. Actually, I drink the equivalent. Usually, I drink the equivalent of two of these. I drink four. I drink four of these, or two and a half to three and okay, 2.5 to 4 of these per day, which almost, depending on how much I do, it's almost two of these. So yeah, I went almost 13 hours without water, which is not good. iTuber says solar is definitely worth it, but need batteries to store the energy as well. Though I know there are new chargeable generators out there, so no need for gas generators. Yeah. You need a battery for solar to store energy for use at night. Otherwise, you need a generator or use the grid. That's exactly right. So yeah, I'm gonna be connected to the main power grid. I'm not getting a generator though. It's gonna be solar and the main power grid. That's it. So I'll just switch back and forth. That way, I don't need to. I won't need to get a new. I won't need to like plug into something different, right? It's going to be the same, connected to the same power source. So like I can turn on certain light switches. Those light switches will be working on solar, certain outlets. So basically everywhere there's an outlet, I'm going to have two outlets. So when the power goes out and something is plugged in, I can just plug it into the solar, right? And just let that go, because really it's just the battery power that's being, and the solar is charging that all day and all night. In fact, like the fridge and all of those will always be plugged in to the solar. Speaking of, is the fridge closed? It is. And so, but like my laptop or whatever, maybe I'll have it plugged into the main line sometimes and then switch it over to the solar. But that way it just, that way I can maintain power at all times and I don't have to change things. Or you can buy a Starlink internet to have fast internet. Okay. I'd say don't skimp out on the electrical setup. It'll be worth it if done correctly. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to definitely have good electrical setup. Okay. Ruben Jared. Okay, there's actually a couple things. So African Nomad says, what will happen to your Ghanaian housekeeper you talk so fondly of now that you won't be in Ghana often? Oh no, she waters my plants, She still waters my plants. She goes to the house, she cleans whatever needs to be cleaned when things are not being done. Yeah, so in the same way that when the people she used to work with that I inherited her from with paid her when they weren't around, I'm going to do the same. Right? So she'll still be paid even though she's not going to be there every day and I'm not there to do anything. I'm still going to pay her. But if I decide to move somewhere else, what I would do is, if I decide to move into a house, well, I don't know. I have to figure it out. But as of right now, that's the way I'm doing it, at least for the rest of this year. But we've already told her that if I decide to move out of Ghana, I'm going to give her a 3 months notice. So she has 3 months to find somewhere, and she'll be getting paid for 3 months until she finds someone else to work for, if I decide to move. So iTuber says Godrich community. That's where I'm staying, yeah, but I'm not building anything there. So okay, that was a question from before. Yeah, by the water. That's where I'm staying. Yeah, I'm staying at the Reggie Manuel, Godrich. And Christabella says, hit that thumbs up button. Yes, everybody, actually, right now, I'd like for you guys to just go and hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Do it right now as you're watching this. Hit that like button. Okay, Ruben Jared says, This seems interesting. Let's see what he's saying. Hey, bro, question. How much influence does AA coming there have with encouraging changes that might be outdated or colonish? Not a word. Or do they have any influence at all? And it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, this is something that has come up a lot. And I think that anytime you have large swaths of people anywhere, you do tend to affect um, culture to some degree, right? So, for instance, right, Freetown was founded by freed, formerly enslaved Africans from Nova Scotia. Also, there was some Nigerians here, but like, yeah, so Freetown was founded by those folks. The pidgin, which is called Creole, that was spoken by them, or now is spoken widely across the country as like almost like a secondary main language here, just like English was. So you have to imagine this is considered a tribe now here, the Creole tribe, which is people who were probably from all different parts of West Africa, but generations removed because they were freed, formerly enslaved Africans that were in the United States, right? So when you have large, and that was 1,000 people. Now there was a much smaller population of Sierra Leoneans back then, but anytime a group of people come somewhere, you do start to shift some culture in some ways, especially in a small city like Freetown with a population of, let's say 4 million people, right? But when it comes to like encouraging changes, you have to be very careful with that, because people don't like when outsiders come in and try to change them. So I always say, where you can impact, influence, where people want for things to be changed, be a service to those people and help. But I always say, come here with an open mind and humble, and not to assume that our way from the West is better. That's something that I've learned from my first couple of weeks here, is that you want to ensure that you are working with people locally who want to see change and see how you can work together to attain that change, with people who are local and who have influence. But yeah, I don't think just any foreign group can come and have any real impact on change unless people locally want it, and that requires some work with some of the other locals to make that happen. And it all depends on what change that's looking to be, because we don't a lot of change can have unintended consequences. And so I think people are very cautious about other people coming in and trying to make a substantial change to the way of life. So just wanted to address that. And then there's also another thing. Okay, you already mentioned that. Sorry. Christabella says 13 hours without water. Lord, I have to go back and watch the replay. I missed the first 50 minutes of your live. Yes, you definitely got to go back and watch the replay. Definitely comment on it. The replay it'll be good to catch up. Like the whole story about how I got here in the airline situation is like next level. So you definitely got to go back and watch that. Manelik, I did see your email. I will get back to you. Wait, let me just double check while we're on the live. No, Manelik, I don't have an email from you. Are you sure you emailed authenticafricanlife@gmail.com? Forward the email you sent to authenticafricanlife@gmail.com. You might have just sent it to authenticafrican@gmail.com. And that might have been my fault, because I think I might have typed it incorrectly into the chat before. So email authenticafricanlife@gmail.com. Make sure you let me know. Well, I'll look to see that you did that. So Serafina says, what plans do you have for adequate water supply? So two things. Guma does supply water 3 days a week in the area that I'm going to be in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a water well. Well, I'm deciding. I might have a water reservoir that kind of lets water seep into it, holds the water, and pump water out of it. Or we might just do the straight up like pump water directly from the ground with a pump into the giant containers. But I'm gonna have some big kind, like 10,000. What is it? 10,000 liters, whatever it is, maybe bigger. I don't know what the number is. I can't remember. I think it's 10,000 liters. I'm gonna have a couple of those, one of those for each floor. So each floor will have its own 10,000 liter thing. And as it goes empty, we'll just be pumping more water into those to make sure that the water is sustained. Because unfortunately, the national water supply, Guma is the name of the company because of the Guma River. Is the Guma River? Guma area. Only pumps water to that area for 3 times a week, sometimes just 2 times a week, and it doesn't even flow enough to fill up anything because everybody's trying to get the water at that same time. So I'm gonna have to have my own water supply. Luckily, in the mountains where I am, there's always water underneath the ground. So we just got to know how to dig far enough down, and you can just pump water in, filter it into your water supply. All right, Miss P said, Joe, I was at happy hour with my sister. I missed the whole conversation. I have to watch the replay. Yeah, you will have to watch the replay. Definitely watch it. You got to hear what happened. Yeah. So you and who else missed the replay? Christabella too. Yeah, you guys both got to watch the replay. iTuber said, Mr. Jared, time will tell with your question. Many are getting citizenship and just not getting settled, buying land, building homes, etc. We'll see what happens. Yeah, true. Yeah. I see that we are buying a lot of Western area just outside of Freetown. So that'll probably be where most change will occur. Yeah. And so I happen to have land in the Western area right outside of Freetown. And the good news for me is that what I know about West African cities is that the city tends to have they start naming it the greater area. So like Accra now, it's like they have the greater Accra area. So you have East Legon Hills, you have Chado, you have Teshi, you have even East Legon. I don't even know if that was originally part of Accra, but like cities start to expand, right? And so as that happens, once you buy land, like now, the land that I'm buying now and that anybody's buying right now, in 20 or 30 years is going to be like 10 to 15 times the worth it is now, maybe even more. It's going to be substantially more. In Ghana, people who bought East Legon was a wasteland 25 years ago. If you ask anybody from Ghana, that's what they'll tell you. 25 to 30 years ago, there was nothing there. So early 90s, late 80s, there was nothing there. Yeah. Now you can sell land for just the land itself for $500,000. Just a couple of plots of land can be sold for $500,000 in East Legon. So yeah, for sure. Buy now and you'll reap the benefits 20, 30 years from now. That's the great thing about West Africa, right? Is that it's ripe for those kinds of investments. You buy land now and you can buy land and rent, which is what I'm going to do, or you can buy land and flip it later. You know, it's totally up to you, but like it's an investment for your future because you just know that the more of us that go back, the more of us are going to want to buy land. And, you know, as it becomes a softer landing for people to come to Sierra Leone more often and people start coming more, that the value of that land is just going to go up. Okay, iTuber, with water, how do you get good pressure? Is there a minimum height needed for good pressure? So the way you get good pressure with water, for the most part, really, is two things: is your water being up so that the pressure comes down, right, into the apartment, right, just the gravity itself. And then 2, instead of buying those wide barrels, buy the thin, tall ones, because then that way the water pressure is stronger coming down. That's what I've been told. I'm not a physicist or anything, but that's what I've been told. No narrative. Is there a way to hide those really unattractive water barrels? There kind of is, but like it's really, really difficult, right? So like you could put them in the back of your property on the side. So mine are gonna go in the back of the property next to the what do we call this thing now? The guest house. But I don't know if you're going to be able to completely get rid of them, though, to be honest with you. You can't really hide them. It kind of is a thing here. If just like anywhere you go, these are just everywhere. It's hard. So iTuber says put trees around it. LOL. I think they are ugly as well. I also dislike the barbed wire everywhere. So fun fact: the way Ghana does it is on another level, and some places in Nigeria do it too. So they, instead of doing the barbed wire like this, which is how most of the barbed wire is that you can find here, you can do it where you have the and like this. By like this, I mean, just in case this is going to end up being an audio, I mean like the spiral barbed wire that goes around, and you have like a V like element that holds it in place. There are more like things that are shaped like a 7, and it has barbed wire going straight across it, which looks a little bit better. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to have something like that on your property, because you don't want people climbing your fences and getting in, because it does happen, which is why everybody has it all over West Africa. Even in Ghana, they have it. And Ghana is supposed to be considered one of the more safer areas in West Africa, and people do it there too. So yeah, I mean, but in Ghana, what people do is a lot of people do electric fences, but you have to have steady power to do electric fences, and it costs money. There's a current going through it at all times. So you can do an electric fence too, so it doesn't have the sharp barbed wire look. So that can also be something that you do. I have to cast a replay. 2, new job. Well, congrats on the new job, by the way. But yeah, definitely cast a replay. That makes sense. Just make the whole thing Freetown province. Maybe they will. And this is talking about the expansion of the greater Freetown area, which I think is what it will be called soon. Yeah, East Legon plot prices are out of control. Yes, they are. I wish they put the airport back at Hastings, but that's another story. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was on the mainland, but it's not. And I don't know when that's from. So, is it Bindu? Bindu or Bendu? Bendu or Bendu? Is it Bendu and Bendu? You have to tell me how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I'm really trying. I have not seen this name before, and I haven't seen, like, I know a lot of Sierra Leone names, but this one's a new one for me. So I'm sorry if I messed your name up. Tell me how to pronounce it though, because I hate when people mess my name up and also mess up our African names, but I always try it first. So you say, I'm from Sierra Leone. My husband's African American. We are making plans to buy land and build in Sierra Leone. This video is so helpful. Please continue to make videos like this. I'm glad you found it helpful. And yes, congrats. Definitely buy that land. You definitely need to do it. All right, David McCrae says you can hide them in a hidden roof if you're building a new construction. Yeah, so I have seen people like try to like put like a structure around them, so that it just has its own look. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just reserved to the fact, or resigned to the fact, that it's going to be there. So it's a straight line barbed wire. Yes, they do have straight line barbed wire. Actually, because I was talking about the barbed wire before, iTuber, just go to Amazon. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's telling everybody to go to Amazon. I'm all for workers' rights and the unionization of workers. So let me just say that to be clear, because there is a whole situation right now with unions trying to, people trying to unionize against Amazon. So to be very clear, but if you want to get an idea for what these things look like, they are available on Amazon. They have them basically structured like that, but with straight barbed wire across instead of that spiral barbed wire that doesn't have a great look. I'm up, and it's Mabendu. Sorry, Mabendu. Got your name right now. Now I won't mess it up ever again. iTuber says, nice to see those connections being made. Yes, cool. Oh, David McCrae is saying not a separate structure. It is a part of the roof. Okay, so putting it in the roof. Okay, so there's some buildings here, right, where you have a really big roof like this at the very top. And maybe that's where they're putting their water, because a lot of people used to just make these big roofs because of the water, like for the rain, and then there'd be nothing inside of it. But that might make sense. You can put your water in there. Me, I'm going to have 3 floors on my house. So I'm going to have a separate tank for each floor, especially since most of the people or who I'm going to be renting it out to is probably likely going to be diasporans who are used to using more water than most. Cool, cool, cool. All right, guys, we're at an hour and 30 minutes. I didn't even realize that we went that long. We covered a lot of ground today. A lot of ground. Okay. So iTuber says, I want to see us paint our perimeter walls as well. We also need to power wash more. Someone can make a killing setting up that business in West Africa. Yeah, they can, as long as they have a good good water source, right? A good water source to do that. Because usually you hook it up to I saw, I go down these like Instagram rabbit holes, and I definitely saw a power washing business. This guy does all he does is do a point of view of him power washing and like talking through his power washing business. And it's really dope. But obviously you have to get a good source of water so that it comes through their hose and that it actually does power washing. But you're right, we definitely need to do that. And we definitely need to paint more of our gates like other countries do. Ghana does a good job of that. Even in Nigeria, in some places, they do a pretty good job of that as well. And so we need to do more of that in Sierra Leone for sure. Eddie George is saying, what do I think of real estate in Nigeria and Ghana? Yeah, I mean, both of which are growing in popularity and in expenses. So eventually I do want to have property in both places, but I'm working on getting, some stuff done in Sierra Leone first before I do that. Regarding Western area, yeah, the John Obey area was given to a Gambian developer and we'll build a community there. He was featured on Wode Mai's channel. All right, cool. Nice. I'll have to check that out. I think it was recent, right? I think I did see Wode Mai interview a guy who was Gambian. JFC 495, peace. What's up? Eddie George, yeah, he was asking about what I think of estates in Nigeria. Oh, estates, not real estate. Some estates are nice. I've seen some really nice ones. The one I was staying in could use some work for sure. 1004 federal housing estates could use some work. Definitely could use some work. Speaking of power washing and repainting, that's for sure one place that could use some work. But don't worry, you guys will see the vlog. I'll show you everywhere that I stayed and all of that. Actually had a security guard try to stop me from shooting a video. I don't think he liked that I was shooting content. And I wasn't even saying anything wrong. I was just shooting it. Shout out to No Narrative for contributing to the channel. Thank you very much. Just saw the $sign. Congrats on monetizing officially. See you soon. I was officially monetized back in July of last year. I just lost it again, but I'm back. And thank you. Good. So you guys can see that now. So yeah, if you guys ever want to support the channel, I do a little bit of clickbaity stuff, but I don't do controversial issues to try to get people here. I'm really just trying to give value to people. So, my incentive isn't about trying to go viral, right? So that I can get a ton of views to get paid, right? So eventually what I would like to do is have a subscription service, have people be able to join where it can be straight value and I can do one-on-one coaching sessions and all that kind of stuff and make those coaching sessions available to people. As of right now, I just don't have the bandwidth and just the structure to do that, but eventually I will get to that. But yeah, anyway, so if you want to support the channel, you can. I'm sure you can see it somewhere on the video. You can see where you can support the channel like No Narrative did. Thank you, No Narrative. I really appreciate that. David McCrae says, do you plan on featuring other real estate videos in Sierra Leone? I do. That's why I wanted to go with Masa to Bo tomorrow, but I can't go because the time that she's going to be going conflicts directly with some really important meetings that I need to have, so I won't be able to do it. David McCrae, I will DM you if I need to take a look at, if I need you to take, okay. I will DM you if need to take a look at my project in Sierra Leone. Okay, yeah, you can, I would say email me at authenticafricanlife@gmail.com. That's a better place to get to me. for sure. Because the DMs are crazy, and sometimes I'm slow to get back to those. I'm slow to get to the emails too, but the DMs is just way more. Because on YouTube, right, when I'm telling you guys to email me, we're only talking to a subset of 3,600 people, right? The channel is still pretty small, say 3,600 people. On Instagram, there's 36,000 followers. So you can imagine how many inbox messages I get for all kinds of different things pertaining to what's going on that page. So things get lost in those inboxes. So when you're on the live, I'll always tell you to just go to email me instead of Instagram me. All right. 1004 Estate was built in 1970. The place is really old. Yes, I do know that. I do know it is really, really old. Shout out to my Bendu. My Bendu also just contributed to the channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel and contributing. Every bit helps, you know, and the more we do this, the more I can do this full time, right? And I can do the investing thing as I go as well. Right now, I work full time to cover all of my expenses, but I'd love to be able to do more of this full time, so like what Wood MI is doing, right? So that I can feature more people and feature more of the country of the continent. You could tell I didn't get much sleep last night. Of the continent, for sure. Serafina also just contributed to the channel. Thank you very much. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Yeah, so I really appreciate it, guys. You guys have been supporting this channel from the beginning. Even when I wasn't able to monetize the channel, I think it was about 6 months. I counted the videos. I did 60 videos after I had been monetized. My channel had been monetized, and they stopped monetizing my channel. I did 60 videos between then and being able to be monetized again, 62 videos or so. And I did that because I want to give you guys value, right? And so I'm so happy that you guys find this stuff valuable and that you guys have been contributing and supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Kenya, what's up? You're not here in Sierra Leone, but I know you're holding it down, about to open up the restaurant. So the restaurant opening is what, in 5 days? But we have to link up in Sierra Leone at some point. We have to do the link up in Sierra Leone. I'm eating breakfast with Masa tomorrow, Kenya. So so we'll have to catch you up on that. We'll have to send you a video from Sierra Leone, from Salon, going to Pearl for breakfast tomorrow. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments on anything that we reviewed today? Anything? Let me know. I see some people still joining on the Instagram live, and some new people joining on the YouTube live as well. But let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything else. Kenya says, y'all enjoy. We will enjoy. We will enjoy. I'm just going to be eating some fruit, drinking the juice, because, you know, I don't eat eggs or anything like that. Oh, I need this water. I need this water, guys. I'm dehydrated. From 2 days ago. So I didn't have money, went to sleep with no water. I ate dinner, finished what little water I had, went to sleep with no water. It was, when was that? It was after I did the live on Saturday. So I ate again, went to sleep with no water, woke up the next day, Sunday, no water, all the way till I got to the airport, where I just couldn't take it anymore. So I know I'm going to suffer for that. Those 13 hours, I can tell you my body is not feeling good. I ate, what did I eat? I ate something that had just a little bit of salt, and it assaulted my system. That's for sure. It's not good. All right, cool. She's trying to. Well, she gave me a pronunciation. She gave me a pronunciation, Kenya. So you got to see it. She pronounces it that way, but maybe everyone has a different way to pronounce it. She sent it as Mabendu. And so I don't know, but sometimes we add our Americanized versions to names and stuff like that too. Like, yeah, it happens a lot. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Serafina says, these are some of the videos I want to see. How to invest and help create a better Sierra Leone. Got you. It's on my list. Lady Keene says, what are your thoughts on migrating cultural crossings being built in Ghana? Can you do some research and give us your thoughts? It seemed like it was going to be off grid. I believe you pay utilities. Migrating cultural crossings. I have no idea what that is. I can't believe I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you give me some more insight, Lady Keene? Send me an email, actually. I will do some research and I'll get back to you. Okay. So Mabendu says that's the way her parents named it, and that's how it's pronounced. It's not Americanized. Got it. Starting from the motherland. Okay. David McCrae is asking, Kenya, how can we support the relaunch or the restaurant launch since we are not in Ghana? Yeah. So Kenya, you'll have to let them know. Excuse me. Sorry, that was not good. You'll have to let the group know here, or oh, what you guys can do is you can follow is it at Sierra Leone Chop House? What's the name of the page? Kenya, I'm gonna need you to help me out here. What's the name of the page at Sierra Leone Chop House? Instagram.com/Sierra Leone Chop House. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, you'll have to let us know. I can't seem to find it. No Narrative says, check Eric McNeil from Migrating Culture Crossings. Okay, got it. His voice is hard to listen to, but the information is very good. Okay, sounds good. I'll keep that in mind. Freetown Chop House, not Sierra Leone Chop House. Okay, so I'm gonna put that into the chat here. Freetown Chop House, Instagram. Why isn't my Instagram on Instagram? Oh, that's why. Instagram.com/Freetown Chop House. Uh-oh. Oh, Freetown_Chop House. Got it. So for those asking, this is it. That's the link to it right there in the chat. I'll put it in the description as well. So you can follow the page, and then just reach out to them directly, and they'll let you know. An error occurred posting this on YouTube. Okay, so David McCrae says, I'm thinking of buying lunch for one individual of your choosing. Well, Kenya, you'll have to decide who that will be. She says, nice. Oh, nice. We can definitely arrange that. So yeah, reach out to the Instagram page for them and they'll set that up. Goddess Naya, what is up? Shout out to you. If you want to see all the conversations happening, it's happening on YouTube Live as well. So I did pin the YouTube link in the comments there, or yeah, so you can click on the YouTube Live link too if you want to join us there. Cool. Guys, this has been another good live. David McCrae is already following. Step ahead of us already. Nice. Good stuff. So DM them for sure. Yeah, and if you guys aren't following, go ahead and follow the Freetown_Chop House on Instagram. Because yeah, you should be. All right, cool. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? I know I asked this like 30 minutes ago, and now we're at an hour and 45 minutes. So shout out to you guys for bringing more good content and more good discussions. It's always fun to have these conversations with you guys. Even when I'm tired, this gives me energy. My energy might have been a little bit low today though, because I went to sleep at 2:30 and I woke up at 7. So I'm a little tired today, and I was dehydrated too. So the two mix is not good. Okay, cool. So I think this is it, guys. I think this is it. It looks like we've answered all the questions. We solved all the world's problems. We now have world peace. No, but seriously, thanks everybody for joining. I want to again acknowledge 3 people. I want to acknowledge everyone who's been following from the beginning, but 3 specific people who have supported the channel today. First of all, Serafina, I want to thank you for supporting. Mabendu, I want to thank you for supporting as well. And No Narrative, thank you for supporting. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I never even asked for anybody to support, and the fact that you guys did, I really appreciate that. So Lady Keen is going to send me an email about Eric McNeil and what he's doing with, if you buy solar panels, they'll own the electricity, but you'll have the cost of electricity and water. Okay, yeah, I'll check it all out so I know more about it, and I'll give you my opinion once I have some more details. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you found this content useful, and it seems like many of you did, anybody who's thinking about building or buying a house in Sierra Leone, I think this could be really effective and really helpful for them. So make sure you point them to this video and send it to people. If they're planning on moving or even visiting, I think this could be helpful for them as well, especially those who are planning to travel from Nigeria to Sierra Leone. Don't take Airpeace. That's what I would say. But yeah, so with all that being said, thanks, guys. Oh, Serafina says, you're welcome. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for everything, guys. With that, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll see you all on the next video.